Sam Hunt, Make You Miss Me, brand new Kicks 105.5. A good morning to you. It is hump day, and as we do at about 7:50, give or take 5 or 10 minutes, depending on if the dog is cooperating. Mike Barrett from Barrett Insurance Agency. Good morning, Mike.
Don't forget the 2.5-year-old at home that might need a little extra.
Keeps things slowed down. You're like,
before a roll
really?
out.
What is this on my shirt? What is this?
Oh, no, I'm way beyond that. I'm like, whatever.
Just
if I hold my arm this way, nobody will ever see that.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, you notice you and I do the same thing. We wear checkered clothing. That way, nobody can really see. It's an optical illusion.
Yeah. So when I eat lunch, it's all good.
Okay, so I got some serious stuff to shake down this morning.
Oh, I gotta go.
I know. No, because you are going to sound like a hero by the end of all this, brother.
Ooh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
I like that.
As you know, my daughter was in a quite a crazy accident last week, and due to the fact that we have a insurance company that is not on our side, I've decided to go with switching over my insurance to you. And before I get into long questions, the first thing you told me was that I can't just switch over to you, that I need to make sure that I'm closed out from the other account before I can do that.
Not closed out of the other account, but now you have a claim that's active and open and ongoing and undetermined of what the total payout's going to be. So it's really kind of a wait and see. The companies that I'm going to be working with are going to be very interested in knowing what the total payout is, because that's part of the rating process. So if it's $2,500 or if it's $25,000, that can play a major role in determining eligibility with particular companies and rating with all companies.
They screwed me.
Okay,
I'll be honest with you.
Now that doesn't factor into my rates at all.
It was just like,
I'm so sorry to hear that.
I can't believe how much money I've been paying out over the years for what kind of service I got, as far as people being helpful to me, and as far as what the payout was, didn't even cover the cost of my vehicle. So very upset about that. And so is it common in your business that when people have insurance and they're not satisfied with after an incident occurs, that they automatically call you up and say, I want to change now?
It happens. It can happen where that becomes the end-all feeling, where you're just very dissatisfied with the process. Because I think what the great takeaway from this situation is, you are paying for your insurance every month, every quarter, every half a year, every year, whatever it is. And you do expect something. But a lot of that expectation is based on an assumption. You assume particular coverages are just there, and you're hoping that they're there. That's why I always stand on my soapbox saying, be your own advocate and understand the coverage you have to the point of your comprehension. Make sure you just understand what you have, so that if it does happen, that you're not surprised. Because let's be honest, insurance is only as good as the claims process.
If I say full coverage, by the way, that doesn't really mean
full coverage.
Full coverage.
No.
And so when I say to you, Mike, I'm going to take care of you fully, in my words, that means I'm going to take care of you fully. And when I say to somebody, I want full coverage, and I'm paying quite a bit, then I expect that people are going to take care of me at the time that I have that need.
Sure.
And that was not the case.
So what parts of coverage are missing, if you don't mind me just jumping into it here?
The most part that shocked me was that I didn't have a rental car available to me.
Yes.
That's extra.
It is extra.
It would seem to me that I'm paying so much under full coverage that would be something that I would get.
We'll stop for a second. The quoting that I have started for you all includes rental reimbursement of up to $50 a day. But go ahead. Continue.
So, but then Diane and I got to talking, sales Diane Roy, and she said that she got a bundle where she pays an extra $60 or whatever, and it tacks on to vehicles.
Yep, $65, and it covers all vehicles with the company that she's with. Yep.
Yeah, and so you have something similar that covers that, or is that enrolled into what you already have as just the baseline for what you're paying?
So every company has their own specific package endorsements and how they add these different levels of protection. Now, with the company that Diane is with, I actually represent that same company. So that is an overall package that is rolled in, but everybody else has their own way of doing it, of adding the coverages such as rental reimbursement, gap coverage. If you have a loan on the car and the payout of a claim is less than what you owe on the vehicle, the gap coverage would fill that void. Getting towing and labor.
Is that what you call it, gap coverage?
Yeah, it's called loan lease coverage or gap coverage. There's a couple of different names for it.
So, I think the biggest thing is when you're dealing with all of these things, you're having to do a lot of paperwork.
Yes.
People are, somewhat making you feel threatened that if you don't get all this stuff done, that you're not going to get the assistance that you want.
Incorrect.
And there are people that you're calling far, far away. They don't know jack about Vermont. They don't know me. And so in this particular situation, I thought to myself, I would actually be willing to pay, and I say this in jest. Don't actually charge me. I'd be willing to pay.
Notes.
I'd be willing to pay double just to have had you come and say, Shawn, sign these papers. This is what I got for you. This is what we're going to do. And here is why we decided to get you this extra gap coverage. And here's your rental car so that your wife doesn't have to be out of work for a week, so your daughter is going to be taken care of. And if you have questions, you can come down and physically see me and talk to me or call me, and I'm going to get back to you.
Correct.
And what's funny is that simultaneously, while I'm dealing with my insurance company, I'm actually talking to you about switching, and I get more response, and I'm talking to you more than I am the company that's supposed to be helping me.
That's unfortunate.
That's
unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Yeah. It bodes well for you, but it is very unfortunate.
Well, and let's take a look at the claim situation for you. And this is the case for every company. All right, it's going to sound bad, and it's an overall blanket statement. So please don't just throw this on every insurance carrier. But a lot of times it's in the insurer's interest to mitigate the loss, and that's what a claims adjuster will do. Is that they'll come to you. I mean, you can fight this a little bit. Don't be afraid to say, I'm unhappy with that. We need to go further, or I want to talk to your claims supervisor, or I expected this to be the case, or and it's one of those things where you do still have a voice. Their way of getting to you will be to say, sign this line and we'll give you money. And you sign that line that says, I can no longer come back to you and get money.
My problem
Don't
is
sign that
that
line until you are satisfied.
I know that I personally would start to get very verbally hostile. And I know that if that person was
I get
here,
scared just thinking about that.
Well, I know if that person was here, and my wife will tell you, that I would continue to say, I'm not happy. I really do need better direction and some assistance. And the way I was treated, I would have probably punched the guy.
Oh, goodness.
And
so I'm going to reconsider my quotes.
Bodily injury covering Mike Barrett in Shawn's.
I'm going to put one of those windows that they put into the gas stations in the cities where I'm behind the counter.
Bulletproof glass.
But, ultimately that thing where you can become your own advocate and continue fighting is for the payout. So if you are totally dissatisfied with what they're saying the value of that vehicle is, it's worth it to you to do a little extra research and say, no, that's not correct. Prove to me why it's worth that. You may not get anywhere, but then the problem becomes your time.
Yeah.
Because now you are a busy enough individual where now you have to spend this extra time to fight for something that you, in your mind, felt you rightfully deserved.
Right.
So that's where insurance gets the bad name, because that's really not what it should be about. One of the things I am most proud of with some of the companies that we represent, and I'm talking about Cooperative Insurance of Middlebury, Vermont, the Concord Group out of Concord, New Hampshire in particular. Those are my two biggest ones, but then Progressive and the Hartford. There's always going to be one or two or three or four stories about these companies, or any company in particular with a dissatisfied claims process. But I love to hear at the end of a claim, thank you. Because if you've done what was expected of you, and you get a thank you, that's worth the world right there.
Well, as you know, I'm not saying it as a pitch on the radio. I honestly am now going over to him as he was saying, yes, he's been actually working with me. So that is on a personal note. If you have a large company that you feel you're disconnected from, and if something actually occurs and you're not satisfied, or heck, before that even happens, call Mike Barrett at Barrett Insurance Agency. You can call him up at
748-5224. Visit our website at thebarrettagency.com. Facebook, YouTube, and Google Plus is all Barrett Insurance Agency. And really quickly, I know we're going long, but this is actually more of a PSA at this point. The Relay for Life in St. Johnsbury.
I was promoting that with Fred LaFerrier yesterday.
All right.
Happening noon to midnight at the St. Johnsbury Academy.
Yes, at the football field. And this will be my fifth or sixth. I don't know. I've been the MC for a number of years, and I don't know how to say no to doing the MC role. So when they casually said, "You going to do it again this year?" I said, yeah. So I'll be there playing the music and talking. So if you're sick of listening to me now, sorry.
You'll really be sick of me.
You'll really love 12 hours of me on Saturday.
All right. Talk to you next Wednesday, buddy.
Have a great week.